Hey guys, I'm back. So I told you I'd make another video, and I'm going to right now. Let me just put on my headband. Okay. Sorry, my hair is bugging me. So, doesn't go. So, I have like two best friends on my team, right? One of them's going to be in 8th grade, and one was going to be a freshman. And the one who's going to be in 8th grade, I've known her for like ever. Like, I've known her since I was 10. So, 5 years I've known her. She's one of my good friends. She can get a little like whatever sometimes, but whatevs. Yes, I'm putting on my bandana. Don't judge. I've been wearing this all weekend. Okay, so my friend, she has oh my god, this is so obnoxiously in the way. My friend has a little sister and two older brothers. One of her brothers has already graduated from high school and he's in college. Like, he finishes first year. And the other one's going to be a senior this year. What I came here to talk about was the senior. Now, no offense to him, but he is not the most attractive thing on this planet. Like, I don't mean like he's ugly, I'm just saying, like, he's not like, when you say senior and you think, oh my god, seniors are so hot. Like, no, he's not like hot. But he's really nice, and he's like my brother because I hang out with his sister all the time. So, the other day on Saturday after our first game, we were walking to like our base camp, I guess you could say, for the tournament, and he stopped and he waited for me and he walked with me, and he was like, "Oh, I got all these great pictures," because he takes pictures of our game, so I'd call him the photographer, right? Like that's my nickname for him. If I don't see him, I go to Stat. I'm like, "Where's the photographer? Where is he at?" Um, so he's like, "Oh, I got all these great pictures. They came out really good. I got some really nice shots of hits or catches or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "You're gonna have to show me then." He's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Whatever." And then we're just walking, and I was like, "So, did you take the photography class at Tonhai?" Like, cause I was seriously like asking. And he's like, "No." He goes, "But they only teach you Photoshop and something else." And I was like, "What? What is this other thing?" He's like, "Oh, well, it's blah blah," and he gives me this whole lecture on photography, and I'm like, "What?" But I didn't say that. I was just like, "Okay." Like I was pretending that I knew everything he said, and I'm just like, I heard focal point in Photoshop, so just gonna move on. Um, so yeah, that happened, and then like, I'm really the only girl on the team, like besides his sister and whatever. Like it's me, my friend who has the brother, and then I have another friend. Um, and we're like the only ones that really talk to him. But no one else talks to him because he's so like awkward. But he's so nice. Like if you get to know him, he's not that awkward. Like he still is, but he's not. Like I don't know how to explain him. But so then my other friend, she had a cousin who was playing for another team at the tournament we were at, and she wanted to go watch them. So so we're like, yeah, sure, let's go. So I'm walking with her, and I said, oh my God. And I'm just gonna leave names. Mm, you guys don't know. I'll just say the kid's name, but I won't say my friends' names. So I was like, hey, I was like, Ben gave me this whole lecture on photography today. And I was like, I didn't understand a word. And like I've been to be honest, I've been kind of thinking, does he like me or something? Because he like follows me everywhere, and now all of a sudden he like comes to all the tournaments, and he comes to the practices, which like I don't know if he just wants to come, whatever, but like he just comes, and I'm like, oh, okay. And he sits there and he watches our practices. But so it's like, yeah, then he gave me this whole lecture. Like, I was just being whatever. Because to be honest, I don't really like him like that. Like, he's like my brother, so it's kind of weird. I'm just like, whatever. And my friend's like, well, don't you know he likes you? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. She's like, how do you not know, Mara? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, I've been waiting for you to know. She goes, I thought you knew. She goes, for the past two tournaments, he like, you can so tell. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. And then his little sister comes up and she's like, what are you guys talking about? And my friend's like, oh, we're talking about Ben, your brother, how he likes Mara. And she's like, oh yeah, he totally likes you. He talks about you all the time at home. Like, he's always like, hey, you know that girl that I got that picture of one time? Yeah, your friend, oh, what's her name? Is she gonna be at practice today? Man, my friend's like, of course she's gonna be at practice. She's on my team. Oh, okay. Well, then I should come. And then she's also like, oh, and then he asks if you're gonna be at the tournaments, and she's like, I tell him every time you're on my team, you're obviously going to be there. And I'm like, oh, so I'm the reason he comes to tournaments. And I sat there and I'm just like, guess what? A senior likes me. And my friend was like, yeah. It's like, that's awesome. Like to think about that. And I'm like, wow. And like and then my other friend was like, oh yeah, he like stares at you all the time. I'm like, really? I never really noticed. Like I honestly don't pay attention to him that much. But like if I'm pitching or whatever, I'll see him like walk behind the backstop like with his camera, or I'll see him on the sidelines or whatever. With his camera, I'm just like, oh whatever. He's taking pictures because he's always taking pictures. So then yesterday I kept like a close eye on him and I was watching him and like I glance up and I'd be playing first base and where he was sitting. Oh no. No. I'm gonna start with the first game. So it's the first game and we're on the field that we faced one of the teams on Saturday. Um in the same dugout and whatever. And like in these dugouts, they had these like giant metal like boxes. And one was for like catcher's equipment, one was for bats and helmets. But like they were locked, so it must be for like their rec team or whatever. Um, so I sat on it and he came up right next to me. He was like behind me, he started talking. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? You just scared me. He's like, oh, sorry. And he started laughing. And then he was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm sitting on the box thingy. He's like, well, you might want to watch out for your pants. I'm like, what? I looked at him. I was like, Ben, what are you talking about? My pants. And he's like, you don't want to get rust on your pants. I'm like, okay. So then I got up and I looked at him. I was like, I don't have rust on my pants. He's like, no, but I don't want you to ruin your pants. And I was like, oh, and I'm thinking, what do you stare at my ass all day? Like, what? He's like, oh, I don't really care. No offense. And he's like, oh, whatever. And then like he tries to flirt with me, and it's kind of funny because he's really bad at it. Like I'm really bad at flirting, but like it's cute how bad he is. Like with the pants, like that's like his flirting. Like it's kind of funny. And and then like then he kept trying to take pictures of me during our break so he could show me all the different functions of his camera. So now he's like showing off his photography skills to me. Like now he does that. He shows off his photography skills and he talks about it all the time. And I'm just like, I don't understand what you're saying. And I'm like, I understand you're good at photography. Okay, it's all right. I believe you. Okay. And then so then like so then I'd be pitching and I would see him and he's like taking pictures or like he had his camera out and I'm like, oh my God, he's taking pictures of me again. And then And then the last game, right? I'm warming up in the outfield because I tried pitching the second game, but then my hip like killed and I couldn't do it. So I had to sit the rest of the game. Um, so then he like stayed near the dugout until we got up to bat. And then he moved and he took pictures. But besides that, he like stayed next to the dugout. And I was like, oh. But whenever I was out there, he wasn't next to the dugout. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then the last game, I noticed this weekend that he follows me a lot. So me and his sister went out into the outfield to warm me up pitching because she's a catcher, so she catches for me sometimes. So she's warming me up, and he comes and he's following us, and like he's like nonchalantly walking down, like there was a hill at the bottom at the end of the fence. Like I could see him walk by, and he's kind of like glancing back, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And so then I'm just like kind of like watching out of the corner of my eye. And I'm pitching, like focusing on my pitching. And then all of a sudden he pops up out of nowhere. And he's like on the fence, like with his arms and everything. He's just standing there, like smiling, like watching me pitch. And I'm like, okay. Like I've always wanted someone to like, I wanted to be the reason someone comes to things. And now I feel like I somewhat am. Like I like it, but like he's kind of like creepy about it in a way. But so he's just like standing there staring at me. And then every time I dance, okay, every when we had a tournament in Dighton, right? Me, his sister, and my other friend, we were all dancing. So he threatened to take pictures of us dancing, and he did. So now whenever I dance, he threatens to take pictures of me. I'm like, oh my God, you're not going to take pictures of me. Like, do you have like a shrine like in your room of me? I don't know. It's like, oh boy. Um, and then the last game I pitched 2 innings. They were just like hitting off of me and people making some errors or whatever. So then I played first and I have to say I did pretty amazing at first base. Like that was a really good game for me at first. I made some good catches. Um, I didn't necessarily dive for a ball, but like I tried to get a ball and I fell. Not like trip fall, but like I kind of dove for it. Um, but I didn't get her out at first. The girl who covered first for me threw it to second, got the runner out. And then like there was this play where I didn't think I would get to the base with my feet, so I just kind of like took the ball in my hand in my glove and I like hit the bag before she stepped on it. She was out, and I was like, yes. But while I was playing first base, I noticed he wasn't taking as many pictures. Like he'd go around, he'd take some, but like he didn't really take pictures of the other pitcher. And so I'm saying there at first base, and he's just like staring at me. And like there was where he was sitting, there was like a pole, like a giant pole. And so if he was watching the pitcher where he was, he'd have to like kind of like move his head and turn a little. Just a little, but like a little bit noticeable, you know what I mean? So I caught him looking a couple times. But the rest of the time he's just sitting there and he's just like where my computer is, I was like directly in front of him and he's just like staring at me, like at my plays and stuff. And then like he talked to his mom and then his mom would be like smiling and then she'd like point towards my way. I'm like, oh my God. Like I don't know if he's talking about me, talking about his sister, or he's talking about someone else on the field in my area, but it was kind of like, are you talking about me? But apparently he talks about me all the time at home and whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. Which I'm kind of happy about because I think it's kind of funny, but like I never go out with him. Just because our families are like good friends and whatever, and I don't really like him like that. Like he's just like my brother, like an older brother to me. So, what else? But I think it's kind of cute. And it's not that big of an age difference either, which but I was so then I told my dad that and I was like, so and so think that so and so's brother Ben likes me, and he's like, really? It's like, yeah, and I was like, he kept like staring at me, whatever, and he's just like, oh well, maybe he likes you. I'm like, I just kind of said that, and then I was like, but I don't talk to him that much. I mean, I talk to him like the only one who really does talk to him, but I don't talk to him that much. And he's like, well, maybe he just likes talking to you. Maybe he's not attracted to you. I'm like, oh, gee, thanks. Like that helped. Oh well. So I have a stalker at softball who always comes to watch me, and I kind of like it. Um, he's fun to be around. Like he's funny. And then like last night he was like singing to me. Like it was kind of funny. When I went to the beach with him and his sister and his other sister and his friend and his mom, like we were all like playing each other's iPods and like singing, but he wasn't really singing. And so then last night he was sitting next to me and we were watching my friends play ping pong, right? And he's like sitting there and he's facing me and he's singing and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is so awkward. Like he was singing to the music and then Amanda was like, oh, I want to pick out a song. And he's like, no, 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 no. I know a song that Mara will like. She's like, I want to pick out a song. Like, we've been playing songs you want to play. I want to pick one out. It's like, no, no, no. I know one that Mara will definitely like. I do. I really do. I'm like, okay. He goes, it's a Disney song. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's Disney. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, it's probably from Mulan. Because, like, he has, Make a Man Out of You. And we were singing that in the car one time. And, so, like, I was like, fine, tell me what it is. He's like, no. I'm like, tell me what it is. He's like, no, I'm not going to. I'm like, fine. Tell me what movie it's from. He's like, Mulan. I'm like, knew it. I was like, so is it? And I knew the song in my head. I just couldn't, like, say the name. Like, it was on the tip of my tongue. And he's like, it's probably the one you think it is. I'm like, oh, okay. So then he plays it, and he's like belting it out, like, so loudly. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'd sing, but I was like kind of quiet about it because there were other people around that I don't sing in front of, aka my parents, my friends' parents, one of my past coaches. So yeah. Well, I guess that's it for now. I shall update you guys since we have a home tournament this weekend. Um, yeah, maybe make another video this week and tell you if he comes to practice or not. Oh, he asks us, so I'm gonna go to practice. Well, I'll talk to you guys later then. Bye.